we have two emergencies that we are dealing with. And the one, our overdose crises, has been compounded in many ways, particularly for people who are homeless and underhoused, people who have substance use disorders. It has been compounded by the restrictions that we've put in place to deal with the pandemic. So what we are working on, and what you'll hear more about in the coming days, is a coordinated plan that provides the housing that is needed for those who need it, and provides some strategy to support people who are dealing with and suffering under both of these crises that we're dealing with now.
Rob Shaw, Vancouver Sun.
Oh, hi, Dr. Henry. I realize you're still working on guidelines and protocols on businesses, but the third largest private sector employer in BC is the restaurant and hospitality sector. And I think they're wondering is there any scenario where you would consider it safe for them to reopen or begin reopening dining room service next month? You push the tables apart, you put an emphasis on more outdoor seating and patios and that type of thing, or does that kind of trouble you, the idea of those contacts and people being together in that way?
Part of it is my own personal desire to go back to my favorite restaurants, but I think there are ways, and what I'm putting out there is we need to be able to maintain those decreased connections. So not getting together in large groups where we know it can be a risk, both spreading it to each other and risk to staff in a restaurant, for example. So, but there's lots of innovative ways that people can get around that, and we've seen some of that with the takeout services. So yes, I do think there's options. It's not going to be back to what we were before, unfortunately, for a time. This is not forever. This is for the foreseeable months, certainly this summer, and then we'll have to think again about things into the fall as the influenza and respiratory virus season starts, and we may need to rethink some things. But I think there's lots of innovative ways that we can have in restaurant dining that protects both the staff as well as people who are coming in. And I'm looking to industry to come up with those ideas of how this could work. It's going to be a challenge, I understand, for many, particularly small restaurants in the coming months.
Mary Brooke, West Shore Voice.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. That's really good news to hear that you're opening up the testing to anyone who now wants to get tested. But I'm wondering if you have a particular message to grocery and pharmacy retail workers who are particularly stressed right now. I can already recount several situations where personnel at checkouts are not just stressed, but they're scared and they're openly saying so. And some are saying the plastic shields are not enough protection and that they feel shortchanged by their employers who aren't giving them enough direction.
I'm sorry to hear that, because actually, the types of things that are really good protection are having a piece of plastic. The plexiglass barrier between me and you is the way that we stop droplets from going between us. So it is actually a very effective method. And it's one of the we talk about the hierarchy of infection prevention and control measures, and that's an engineering control. It's one of those things that's built in there that protects you. So I would reassure people that that is one of the simplest and most effective things we can do to prevent transmission. So that is, that is reassuring. I will also say that, testing has always been available for workers who are sick. So it is about people having symptoms. It doesn't help to test people who are perfectly well. And so we need to make sure the things that we know make a difference, that do protect us from transmission of this virus, are maintaining that safe distance, having barriers, cleaning our hands regularly, not touching our face, and staying away from others when we're sick. Those things work.